Yo, ho, ho, this is the Korean Pirate. We are back again. Just as I said in my last video, we have now gotten the final piece of the puzzle. We have got the Resonator Showcase for Augusta, as well as Augusta the Sharp Blade. We are not going to waste any time in going into this. We are going straight into see what the story is, what's happening, and let's enjoy the show because Kuro has never failed. They haven't so far. They have never failed to live up to expectations of showing the reveal of a character. Here we go.
There was once a rough lump of iron, dull, forsaken, buried in scorched soil, until freed from dirt and grime. A sharp blade slumbered within, awaiting the trial of fire. Hammered and pounded, purged of impurity, thus its steely frame was formed.
I just started on fight, she grew up a bit.
Now awakened, a blade cutting through all, yet it was honed to achieve more. It yearned not bloodshed or war, but to carve a path none had walked before. Behind high walls, glory has long decayed. Even the victorious couldn't escape the sting of corruption.
Oh wow.
Yet, with unshakable resolve, the blade feared no storm or flame. Maelstroms engulfed its frame. Fire scorched its crossguard. Yet it rose above blood and sand, breaking every shackle.
When there were other people.
Through countless battlefields, baptized in the dust of strife, it set ablaze a trail of blood to reignite glory.
The dark kind.
All for this moment.
So it's cracked. What's each other against?
Alas, the glorious crown favors no length. As rage from the heavens pours, even the keenest steel is doomed to rust in the tempest.
That's true.
Blade shattered, luster lost. No longer swift, no longer sharp, dragged down by its own weight. Heavy in hand, blunt against foe. There was once a rough lump of iron, abandoned in mud and mire. Yet, when the burning valor of its past kindled its silent furnace, the sharp blade within was ready. And so, once a scrap ignored by all, now it strikes at the throne. The once rough iron is now the true ruler's sword.
Wow. I still can't get over how they did this swords for this
And
though.
should the tide of fate stir once more, she will raise this sword and blaze through the night as the eternal sun.
That is wow. Even though I have other content creator friends who has given this like a really low rating, and because they say all that's going on, honest to goodness, how it started, you saw for those who did the journey before, they would have seen how they did in the prelude quest before first just before Augusta comes out. Before we go into this next patch into the next main story chapter, we saw we actually went through in a sense doing the choices of growing up Augusta as she was more she got the blade to come forward to go forward in sense of trying to become a gladiator to then become the A4 that she is now. We see that this story shows, yeah, she was a bit of victim of the dark tide, but you can see in a sense a sword that was abandoned, a sword that was used by somebody else in that sense, that was left abandoned, that was left just to rust on its own. She found it, and or you could say it found her. And with that in hand, she managed to save herself from a tacit discord. And then from there, she went on to wanting to become the fight, to become a gladiator, to become the strongest. And that's it. Kind of say she kind of become strong, but she wanted to fight. And then when we did the part of the quest is that she got someone who was willing to teach her. And in willing to teach her, he then goes through her entire thing and saying is that they're not really going to take much of her because of where she comes from. Because as you can look in a sense at if you kind of look at the sense of the history with gladiators in that sense, if you were from if you had like families behind you, nobility behind you, then they would actually take you like some kind of recognition. Here you have this girl who came out from this nobody and is expecting to take on some of the strongest of the strong and saying that she's going to win. So they're just looking at her as if she's a joke. Then lo and behold, what she did, because you I've seen it in the video itself where he was said with it, you hear the crowds chanting, kill, kill, kill. It was the gladiator show. Fights were meant to be a fight to the death. And they said that taking away a gladiator so there's a sense of also um disrespect to the gladiator themselves. But in a sense that she was taking away, I look at it from the sense of that she was trying to change it in the sense no one needs to die. Who needs to die for another person's entertainment? Who needs to die for no reason? If you take away the weapon that is the cause of it, then there's no reason for anybody to die. Yet she had her own problem, and then you realize that at a point in time, all the swords that she collected then became the hilt for the broad blade itself. And what happens is that the sword in itself became blunt. They said that it's blunt in that sense. It's that it's not a sharp edge to say that it can cut. It's basically like a blunt edge, but it's a blunt edge made of sharp blades. So I guess it is still going to cut something. And then we see she's fighting. Oh my gosh, I forgot her name right now, which is the echo that is supposed to represent the people of Settlement itself. They're fighting Valor, but all the souls of them came forward, and that echo was born. She went head to head with that, and she was getting pushed back a good bit, but then she fought back and she did it very very well. And I will say this honestly, you can't not give them the props for what they did with this story with Augusta. You can't. They have done very well with it. Augusta is been portrayed to be the leader that she is. And in a sense, we have seen how, sure, you can say she has a soft side for, and whatnot. But the thing about it is, if you have friends or what, you always, in a sense, you have a fun time with them. Okay, you realize is that you have someone who is just as rebellious as you. And the thing about it is, you cannot show preference. If you show preference, then people will start to use that against you. As you can see in her history, even though she was a victor, the families didn't like the fact that she did not kill her opponents. So what did they do? Even though she was a victor, they then put out people to kill her because she would not kill. And then coming out of it, now you can see it's going in for the greater good. You see beyond what everybody is relishing and, in a sense, wanting and always wanting to test for blood or whatnot. But we see Augusta coming out here, and it's like she will raise, as it says, something and blaze through the night as the eternal sun. Because Septimus was going through a dark time. If you look at it close in that sense, Septimus was going through a dark and bloody time as it was. And here she rose to be that shining light to try to bring back some kind of hope back to Septimus for all people. She's not doing it in a sense of just the nobility young woman who just having fun all the time. No. Because even in the story itself, we saw what she said is that here you have the nobility and nobody knows what's happening to the people on the outside. Here we have the F4 Augusta who's looking after everyone, not just the nobility alone. She's looking after everyone and is willing to be the blazing eternal sun in this dark time for people to know that there is a light of hope. There's shines of something good coming. And honestly, I love how the story takes that telling. You started in the beginning from where she was. We see it as she develops and she grows up, becoming the fighter in the arena, going into the Aegon, and then also becoming Augusta herself, the Augusta, the pinnacle of what she became now. Because you see the transformation of how it took place. When you see all this was granted, to me, that was just an Unlimited Blade Works cameo right there. If anybody can tell me any different, I will tell them I'm going to die on that hill. I am dying on that Unlimited Blade Works hill. You see her on that hill, broad blade risen to the sky. All the swords, because of her forte has electromagnetism. Most people say her forte isn't all that strong, it's not all that wise, it's not that powerful. Yet, it can only go up to 10 meters. If you're a fighter, you only need 10 meters. 10 meters is already a wide range ready for you to be able to fight in to begin with. You see all these blades come up and then come to. Yes, it's done in dramatic fashion, but hear me out. When they come together with a lightning strike and it hits the broad blade, then all of them fall onto the broad blade and just pile one on top of the other. The sword in itself has become a standpoint by itself, and saying that in the center was one, and it gathered the many to the one. And all together, just as you would see, one stick could break on its own, you put a couple sticks together and they become unbreakable. She then takes her one broad blade, which was dull, which was cracked, which everybody thought was worthless. Then, with all these other blades coming together from all the other gladiators, all come together, forged to become the great broad blade, which cannot be broken easily. Why? Because it is not, since you're fighting just one, you're fighting many together as one. So Augusta stands to show this, and her sword, in a sense, shows this is when we stand together. We are unbreakable. We can fight any adversary that comes our way. Nothing can stop us. And as you can see with this one, I honestly will have to give them this rating. This will have to, I can't give it a 10 out of 10. I will not give it a 7 out of 10. I am not going in the meme that direction. But I would at least give it an 8. I want to at least give it a 9 at least, because the thing about it is it has all the normal effects of what you know. They have the emotion driven, that the music is wonderful. Everything about it, how even the narrator tells the story. Whoever is narrating it is telling the story so well. And you see, just like a storyteller, you started off in one way, you build it up, and then you realize when they come back to the beginning again, he drops it right back down. So you get the entire movement of the story. It's like, okay, we're back at the beginning again. And here we are at the pinnacle of it all, where she will blaze through the night as the eternal sun. Honest to goodness, I'm gonna have to try and do a video in which I look at all of their Resonator showcases and see exactly, and actually kind of chronologically see exactly how they were topping themselves up going along the way. Because you see with each Resonator showcase that they do, they are always doing something a little bit extra, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more circle around well, things that develop around the character themselves. So this is the Caribbean Pirate. I am excited. I am excited to the point, and it says is that we have Augusta coming out. It should be by Thursday on the 28th. I will not be home when she releases. I am so mad for it. I don't know if I'll be able to stream my polls or whatnot. I will try, because from tomorrow, I will be flying out. I'll be flying off to Holland. I'll be spending some time with my brother there. So if you're in Holland, then you may want to do like a meetup or something. I have like about a week there before I have to go to Rome for a meeting. Um, I will we'll see what who wants to do what and we'll see what happens. But this is the Caribbean Pirates saying, I am going to sail off, and we are right there with Augusta to see exactly where the story takes us from here because her story quest is the first one up. Hers is the first one out the gate. So any questions that we might have had for Augusta is about to be hopefully answered at this point in time because in the 2.6, is it 2.5 would fall over when at the ending, when we heard it's like Augusta is making her move. We don't know what move Augusta was making. There was no hint of us knowing what move she was making. We only heard about something coming into the prelude in before this next patch when she's talking to saying that she's going there if their plan is going to succeed. So we know something is going to happen. So, as always, you can follow me on Twitch at Caribbean Pirate. You can follow me on Kick account the Caribbean Pirate. I am on both. I stream both to Twitch and Kick at the same time. I multi-stream. I try to stream every day from about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's up, and if there's anything, you can join my Discord. Link will be in the description below. You can also like and subscribe to this video if you'd like to know more, or if you'd like to join and watch for other videos. And you can also find me on Twitter at same handle. I'm everywhere. You'll be able to find everything in the description below. And this is the Caribbean Pilot. Why am I calling myself a pilot? I'm a pirate. Pirate, pilot, pirate. Oh my God, I'm mixing up everything. Sailing off. Peace.